All right, welcome to another edition of the Headline Eye. I'm your host, Larry H. Gardner. The H is for hot one. It is a 77-degree day here in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. By the way, happy birthday, Cleveland. 229 years that the city of Cleveland has been in existence. Happy birthday to the city of Cleveland. I also got the human T-Rex here on the ones and twos. Let's just get to the hot topics before I get to the guests, because of the simple fact of the matter is we about to get on your nerves today, especially about the elections that are coming up. City council races are in effect. Redistricting has affected those, but top stories. I got to get to those. First of all, the tragic death of actor, poet, musician Malcolm Jamal Warner out in Costa Rica where he was vacationing with his family. High tide was the reason. He took an early swim after breakfast with his family, his wife and his daughter, out in Costa Rica where he was vacationing. High tide caught him. By the time the Coast Guard and the others found him, he was already gone. Unfortunately, rest in peace to one of my favorite Cosby kids, Theo. And of course, there's been a lot of sentiment going around from Bill Cosby. He said it's like losing my son again. Remember, Bill Cosby's biological son, Ennis Cosby, was killed back in 1997 during an apparent drive-by on his Mercedes that Bill Cosby brought him himself. A lot of people, including Felicia Rashad, Raven Simone, Tempest Bledsoe, Tracy Ellis Ross, and everybody has been sad by the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Period. This just came across my desk. Of course, we're still mourning the loss of Robbie from the group City High. If you remember them, What Would You Do? That was one of their favorite songs. And of course, rock legend Ozzy Osbourne is dead today at 76. So rest in peace to him. I think that what he said his last concert, I think him and his wife were talking about an assisted suicide somewhere foreign. I don't know if that took place, but Ozzy Osbourne is no longer with us as of today. It's a lot of stuff's been going down. Speaking of stuff that's been going down, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert has been canceled by CBS because of a deal that was done by President Donald Trump with CBS, and Stephen Colbert just didn't mix words. He pretty much told Trump to screw himself. I'm being nice today because of my esteemed guest that I have with me, but the thing about it is like going back to the Malcolm Jamal Warner thing. I know a lot of people like Ozzy Osbourne with the rock legends and stuff like that, but I was Theo. That's how I feel about it. I was Theo. Going back, looking at the Cosby Show, despite anything that Bill has done in his past, he gave them children generational wealth and everything else like that. And Malcolm took it, ran with it, did everything he possibly could. A former castmate, Jeffrey Owens, who played Malcolm Jamal Warner's brother-in-law on the show, Alvin, Jeffrey Owens said I'm sad to lose my little big brother. Of course, he brought Eddie Griffin to mainstream TV, and Malcolm and Eddie and things of that nature, and just a positive African-American role model. Prayers for his wife and child. He has a young daughter. There are two people that are mourning the matriarch of their family. So keep them in your prayer, please. I'll bring that up at the end of the show. And by the way, if anybody thinks of trying to cancel the Headline Eye, especially the orange one in office, I got 3 words for you. I'm going to just imitate The Rock. Just bring it. Try me. Wait a minute. Try Jesus, Trump. Don't try me. Period. All right. Human T-Rex on the ones and twos. Let's get it going because there's a lot of questions that are being to be asked and your phone calls will be answered. People calling me today about the guests. So let's go ahead and play the entrance music right about now. All right. So our guest today is long time. He calls himself the Tom Brady of politics in the city of Cleveland at this particular time. And that's why I'm playing Pick Up the Pieces, because we trying to pick up the pieces of this redistricting and everything else like that. Please welcome Cleveland City Councilman Michael D. Palenzik in the house. How are you today?
Man, I'm glad to be here with the famous Larry Gardner, man. The infamous Larry Gardner and his sidekick back here.
Famous, infamous. Some people wish I was canceled, but I ain't going nowhere. I'm not. So how are you doing today, Councilman?
I'm doing fine, brother.
All right, so let's get right to the point.
Okay, man.
All right.
In.
So you've been on council for a long time, and they
Yes.
did the redistricting
Yes.
and everything. So right now you are in Ward what?
I'm in Ward 8 right now, but come January 1st, it will be Ward 10. We're going from 17 councilmen to 15 come January 1st, and when I came into city council years ago, there were 33 councilmen. So as a result of population loss, the people fleeing the city, talking with their feet, we're going to have 15 wards come next year, which is a very should be concerning to all of us, especially those of us who live on the east side of the city.
Right. So how did this happen? I mean, we knew of the redistricting and everything, and how did this happen?
Well, I'll tell you how it happens. Because again, I've been there longer than anyone. I'm the longest serving member in the history of city council. When you don't stabilize east side neighborhoods, when you look at closing schools one after another, when you look at major factories and employers that left, as you sit here and you look out these windows on the St. Clair and beyond, and you realize all these empty factories, when you take jobs and education and opportunity, people look at their environment, and those who have the financial wherewithal pick up and move. And that's what's happened on the east side. So what we've seen is a migration, especially out of the city, on the east side, with what we would refer to as black middle class. Working class folks have picked up and moved out. They've talked with their feet. And at the end of the day, then we had the census. And when we have a very poor census compliance, second only to Detroit in the worst number of people the lowest number of people who filled out their census forms. And so when you talk about redistricting, you look at census populations. So had we had approximately 2,500 more people fill out their census forms, we wouldn't be being reduced from the present 17 to 15. So it's the perfect storm, Larry. It's people, you take away people's jobs, you take away their schools, you don't improve their neighborhoods, and then you don't fill out your census forms. So what do you think you're going to have? You got a collision, and it's a domino effect on our neighborhoods, especially on the east side of the city. That's the reality.
So the thing about it isn't the responsibility of the person who was elected to be on that ward to push that census and make sure that they're not cut out of it?
And many of us did push the census, but you can't force people to comply. And so when you talk to census takers who are going actually door to door, so if Larry Gardner didn't submit his form, they would actually go to Larry's house. They were telling people, get off my porch, get out of my yard. I mean, you had that kind of resistance to filling out their census forms because there was this undercurrent put out deliberately by the extreme right wing that if you filled out your census, someone's going to come after you for back taxes, or if you owe former utility bills, or you own child support, or you own whatever they're going to come after you. Outstanding tickets, da-da-da-da. And it worked. And that permeated through many of the urban areas across the entire country. So that's why you saw this low response to the census, and we paid a terrible price for it here in Cleveland.
So pretty much that the right, just like the right wing put out the stuff, and
that's exactly.
We got the orange one back in office, and now he's pretty much running amok and pretty much trying to cancel shows and putting out. Won't put out the Epstein list, but we'll put out the FBI report on Martin Luther King Jr.
Of course. Why not expose the Epstein list? That should be those files should be open for everyone to see.
We know that Trump's on it. That's why he's not going to be putting it out, right?
Well, not only do I think he's on it, but I think what you're going to see is very prominent people within the corporate community, business community on it. These are guys that have fat checkbooks and write campaign checks. They're not going to want them. They're not going to want to be exposed. So I think there's suppression. But let the truth set us free. Let us see what's there. If there's nothing there, then why do people have the fear? I'm for opening it up wide open. Open it up.
Right, exactly. I understand that. I am the same way, but we have people. You don't want to stop the money, and the thing about it is, we know Jeffrey Epstein was one of the biggest corporates of child molestation and
Sure.
exploitation. So
Pervert, man.
Pervert. So if you open up the pervert list, then you're going to find there's a whole bunch of people that's going to be like, you know, if you open up the closet, there's going to be a whole bunch of skeletons that's coming out
Well,
of there.
let the skeletons fall out, baby. That's what I'm for. Let them fall out.
Skeletons, ghosts, ghouls, and goblins.
That's exactly, brother.
I feel like we living in Halloween. I'm like all over again. But.
Yeah, but let the chips fall where they may, man.
All right. So back to who did the redistricting?
It is done by the council, by law. We have to do it by law every 10 years. It's a requirement by the city charter. And so what happens when you have to lose 2 wards, there's a collision. There's collisions in different parts of the city. It's a domino effect. So at the end of the day, in some wards you'll have council people in the same ward, in other wards you might not, but the lines get redrawn, and that's how it is. And so whether you like it or not, that's the fact of life. And I think Blaine Griffin did the best job he could do. Am I satisfied with the lines? No, I'm not satisfied with the lines in the new Ward 10 that I'm going to be in. But I think he tried to do what he could. I mean, because again, wherever you draw the line, you affect somebody. You push somebody's quote-unquote neighborhood somewhere else, or you push somebody. So when I look at it, you know, I've always tried to be impartial, looking at how the council operates. I presided, obviously, when I was council president over the redistricting in 2001. So I know how difficult it is. So I think he did the best job he could based on what he was given and what he had to do by charter.
Right. So a lot of people have asked, so let's get down to
Get down, brother.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yes.
As far as, first of all, we're having an issue with the lakefront and the city of Cleveland, as far as the lakefront, because the Browns may be moving to Brook Park. Do you think that's a done deal?
I think it is. When the state gives them $600 million, which they don't have to repay, and another $80 million, which nobody wants to talk about, but that's $80 million to redo the roads around the new Jimmy's World. What do you think's going to happen? They're going to Brook Park. Every indication is the Brook Park is taking action to rezone the property. He'll get the support that he needs out of the city of Brook Park. He'll get the support out of the NFL. He's getting the support out of the state of Ohio. And yet, at the same time, we need roads fixed. We need infrastructure fixed. We need city buildings fixed. You think we're going to get any money out of the state of Ohio? Think twice about that. We're going to get zip out of the state. Okay? So at the end of the day, then what does he do? He goes out after he gets all his money. He goes out and buys a $25 million oceanfront or waterfront property in Florida. Okay?
Wow.
Only in America, brother.
Only in America, where the rich get riches and
That's
the poor get ran over with the truck that the rich drive in.
That's exactly.
So the thing about it is, how do you feel about the state of Ohio, the Governor DeWine, giving the money to the Haslams for the Brook Park thing?
Let me say this. I'm very disappointed. I think the governor's a decent man, and I understand what he has to deal with. A legislature, the House and the Senate, both controlled by extremely right-wing Republicans. I got no problem with Republicans. I got Republican friends, a Republican family. But at the end of the day, them good old boys are in charge in Columbus. And you can see it. They cut public education. They cut libraries. They cut the food banks. Who cuts food for people, old folks and children? You look at what the action that they have taken, made increased taxation on working people and gave wealthy people tax breaks in Ohio. So the question is, as you step back, and then they give away all this money to billionaires. So at the end of the day, what's ruling Ohio today are the boys and girls with the fat checkbooks. The legislature's for sale. Let's just be blunt about it. They're for sale. The people who run the Ohio House and the Ohio Senate, they're for sale. If you write big campaigns, look at the amount of checks that Jimmy Haslam wrote to the leadership in the House and the Senate. Come on, man. And then he gets $600 million. You don't have to be Inspector Clouseau to figure this one out. Okay?
All right.
Okay? It's there. It's for everybody. Let me tell you something. These boys don't even hide it. They don't they could care less. They don't even make any effort to hide what they do.
Well, what about the Modell clause in the city of Cleveland and Mayor Bibb fighting as far as we're not going to, do that.
Well, what did they do? The Modell law was there, and our former my former colleague Dennis Kucinich, when he went to the Ohio House Senate, he passed that law. And so what did they do? They rewrote the law, allowed Jimmy to go outside of the city, to let him go to Brook Park. So much for the Modell law. See, they'll do whatever they want to do because, again, they're on the dole, they're on the hook. And so Jimmy he used the Modell law to get the soccer team in Columbus. He used that law to his advantage when it was there, so he could get the Columbus soccer team. What is that called? The Crew or whatever the hell it is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what they're called down there. But he got that. But now, so he can move outside of Brook Park. He got the law changed. So I don't think Mayor Bibb had any other choice except to file the suits that he filed initially. I know there's a lot of finger pointing at City Hall or in the community. I know a lot of the corporate community is not happy, but I would say this to the corporate community here. All of us were getting phone calls. I was getting phone calls from restaurateurs, from the hotel operators. Oh, the Browns are going to leave. Well, why didn't you say anything publicly? Why didn't you come out and make a statement and make an effort to tell everyone?
Like the Hiltons,
right?
all those.
They're all
Marriott's.
They're all squealing like they're extras in a Deliverance movie. Okay, man, they're squealing, because they know this is going to hurt them. But why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you come out and say to the state legislature, you can't move them out of the city? Because this is what I want to say to you, Larry, and your listeners. Forget about the 10 Browns games or the preseason games. It's not that, because a lot of those fans come in game day and then they go down here at the Muni parking lot.
Right.
They do their thing down there, and then they leave, they go home. It's the other events that Haslam wants to take out to Brook Park. So he's going to compete. Listen to what I'm saying. Write today's date down. He's going to compete against Playhouse Square. He's going to compete against Rocket Fieldhouse. He's going to compete against the Huntington Convention Center. He wants to create other venues out there. He wants to create a facility. Now, is it a convention center he wants to build out there? I don't, but he's going to have a roof, so he'll have a year-round facility. Does he want to create, again, another venue, facility out there? He will compete directly against Playhouse Square. He will compete for big shows, big venues. That's where the hit's going to come. That's where the restaurants and the hotels. If you're staying out at Jimmy's World in a hotel, why would you come downtown to go to a restaurant? You ain't coming back downtown. If the event's out there, if you're going to see a show out there and you're going to stay in a hotel, you're staying out there. You ain't coming downtown and staying at the Marriott. Come on now, let's get serious. That's where the hit's going to come. And if you talk to people privately, they'll tell you just that. Why they never launched an assault, why the Cavaliers and the Guardians never launched an assault against this action is beyond me. The only thing I can think of that somehow they didn't, because at some point they're going to have their hands out asking for the same thing. They're going to be asking for money as well.
I mean, the thing about it is, let's be honest. The Cleveland Browns, it being Brook Park, of course, they want a dome.
Of course they do.
Because, okay, last year, I'm going to tell you what I did. I went to SummerSlam, WWE. Now WWE's on Netflix. Yeah. SummerSlam was outside. Sure. There's a lot of WWE fans in the city of Cleveland.
There are, big time.
Big time. And they come for, this year SummerSlam is going to have a 2-day event at MetLife Stadium. It was a whole event last year, and it was crowded to the point where, when certain wrestlers came out, when certain superstars came out, the stadium was rocking. I mean, literally, like, you can feel it.
You could feel it.
Yeah. So, to the playing, I don't want to play that. I'm just ask, why don't they just build a dome over that stadium down there?
Well, let me say this. For the $600 million that they gave Jimmy, plus the 80, you probably could. You probably could have completely redone Cleveland Brown Stadium as it presently sits on the lakefront. But see, again, Jimmy wants to control everything. He wants to control the parking. He's obsessed with parking. He wants to control. He wants to set the rates. So on 170 acres, it's been estimated he can create 20,000 parking spots.
So that means that you can charge.
Oh, brother.
Parking.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Plus, if he if he could control the hotels and all the other venues out there, that's a cash cow that doesn't stop giving, okay? So at the end of the day, he wants to create Jimmy's World, but he wants you and me and everyone else to pay for it. Now, I'm a capitalist. You want to create Jimmy's World? Be my guest. You own a team? I understand that. 2028, you're out. Your lease is up. So, but if you want to go to Brook Park, fine. You pay for it, brother. Because I don't see all these businesses up and down St. Clair getting free money, getting help. Euclid Avenue, St. Clair. I mean, Superior. I don't see our people getting free money.
Especially right here.
That's right. To do something to redo their business or to invest in their business. I mean, come on now. So at the end of the day, what I said earlier, it's people with fat checkbooks rule Ohio. It's clear to all of us. You see it in Columbus on a daily basis, and it's sad, but that's the reality. And it's going to continue to be the reality until all of our brothers and sisters wake up and realize they have something. They have one thing that they can't take away from you, and that's your vote. That's your vote. And if you don't want to vote, and if you want to concede your vote or delegate your vote to people, then so be it. But that's what happens when you don't exercise your vote and the power that you have.
That means that that the people who vote, because there's going to be people who are going to vote for those corporations who write those fact paychecks to those particular politicians. Just keep warning people, but no, man, everybody wants to be woke. Now, wake up. The Browns about to be in Brook Park. And the thing about it is, like, by the way, for all you bus riders that think that you're not going to have the Brook Park Browns, well, the Cleveland Browns. Ooh, I'm about to say that out loud.
Yeah,
I don't even want to do that. The Cleveland Browns, that Brook Park station is sitting right near Jimmy's World where they want to have it at. The Brook Park is one stop close to the airport on the red line.
That's right.
And I've taken that. And the thing about it is like, isn't the RTA redoing the rapid station right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Or talking about it.
Yeah, they're doing. No, I mean, the thing about it is like, I rode the shuttle bus today when I usually ride the rapid to take something down somewhere.
Yeah.
So they're starting to do it right now. So you think that, what about the RTA, Regional Transit Authority? What about these other people that are going to feel the effects when the Browns leave in 2028?
We will all feel the effects when they leave. And so the big question is, though, if I was sitting in the mayor's office, I would have been in New York on the Roger Goodell's doorstep. I would have said, okay, you want the Browns to go? You want to support the Browns going? Then you got to make us whole. We got over approximately $700 million tied up in that stadium with debt service and all the other things that we had to do. And we still owe approximately $33 million on it. We have still 2 years to pay on it. About $9 million a year we're paying just on debt service. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's interest for your listeners. So we don't even have it paid off yet. We don't even have the stadium paid off yet. And they were talking about tearing it down. And so I'm watching the TV station the other night, and they're talking, well, maybe about $6 million to tear it down. Wait a minute. The figure I was given was between 25 and 30 million to tear it down. Okay? Because you got to take all the foundations out. Between 25 and 30. So then what do you got? You got a big hole in the ground. Okay? So people better step back and look at the big picture. So when we talk about the lakefront, to redevelop the lakefront, where's all that money going to come from? Where's the $500 million going to come to redo the lakefront? To build hotels or restaurants or condominiums or apartments. Where's all that money going to come from? I want somebody to explain that. See, I'm a numbers guy. I'm on a finance committee. Mm-hmm. Show me where's the beef. Show me the beef. That's what I want to see. Show me where the money's going to come from to redo the lakefront. And how does that help Mount Pleasant, Lee Harvard, Huff, Glenville, St. Clair Superior, Collinwood, Euclid Park, Euclid Green? Show me how that benefits all of us.
You mean the lakefront?
That's right.
But Councilman Palenzi, with all due respect.
Yes, sir.
who's going to live down at the lakefront if you put condominiums up there?
Well, you ain't going to be able to afford it, brother.
I know I can.
Okay? And a majority of Clevelanders aren't going to be able to afford it, especially East Side folks aren't going to be able to pay
Unless I hit the lottery, I mean.
$2,200, $2,100 a month for rent, okay? Because that's the reality what that's going to cost. When you drive Cleveland's East Side, you look at these old 2 families, 2 bedrooms up, 2 bedrooms down, 1 bathroom. They're getting $1,100 a month. These guys are demanding $1,100 a month out of these. So you can imagine what a new unit's going to cost downtown. Our folks aren't going to be able to be able to support that. Now, maybe you want to market it to the millennials and out-of-towners or whatever. Fine. But that's why I go back. See, I always look, maybe because I'm a street person. Mm-hmm. I want to know how it's going to benefit my citizens, my residents that are paying taxes, that are struggling to maintain their homes now. Right around in these East Side neighborhoods, you see blue tarps on roofs. We didn't have no hurricane here. People can't fix their roofs. I get calls every day and every week. I can't fix elderly, working poor. I can't fix my hot water tank's out. My furnace is out. My air conditioning's not working. I got my basement's got a problem. I get those calls every week. Every week. And so we got all these folks struggling, and that's all I say is this: show me how our people are going to benefit.
Well, what about, isn't there in Cuyahoga County, there's something for people, homeowners, to fix their roof, a grant so they can fix their roof?
There is very little money available when you look at the need. And you'll get on a waiting list and you'll wait till the second coming, okay? The second coming will be here faster before you get help, okay? So at the end of the day, you have far more need. And that's what I'm saying. Where's the state? Is the state stepping up, throwing hundreds of millions of dollars in to do home repair programs in the city of Cleveland? Hell no. What are we doing to help people who are on Social Security, fixed income, people that are on disability? I mean, see, I'm again, that's what I look at. I look at the reality that I'm confronted with every day. How do we help people? How do we improve their quality of life? How do we make Cleveland's neighborhoods livable? I'm talking about the entire city. But I'm an East Side councilman, so I'm specifically looking how do we make our life better, our residents better on the East Side. I was born in Glenville on 120th Street, north of St. Clair. My mother moved us there from off a street called Darley off 140th. Raised 4 of us by herself. I saw how she struggled. I moved her. Let's move it to the 2025 now. Mm-hmm. I don't know how she would be able to do it with 4 kids. And many times on public assistance in the court as I was growing up. As many families are struggling right now in the city, how do you fix a house? How do you fix that roof? How do you fix your car? How do you pay for the basics for your children? At the same time, they're talking about closing between 20 and 30 frickin' schools in the city again, okay? So those are the challenges. And see, I'm old school. I talk about the things that are important to my citizens. I'm not a dreamer, man. I've lived in Cleveland all my life. Do I want to see a beautiful glitz and glamour lakefront? Heck yeah. But tell me who's going to pay for it? Tell me who's going to pay for it. And how does it benefit our citizens? How does it benefit our residents? That's all I want to know. Lay that out for me, and then I'll be happy. But no one's been able to lay that out to me. And I'm going to continue to ask those questions. It's about transparency. It's about accountability. And that's what I'm about, man. I didn't get elected to not represent my folks. And I represent my folks, and I ask questions, and I make no apologies for that.
We're going to leave it at that because right now I think everything is about to burn up. Thank you very much, Councilman Polenzek. We're going to take a short intermission at this particular time, and it's about that time. By the way, before we do that, I just wanted to say this.
Yes, sir.
That the Board of Elections has moved to Superior Avenue, 1908.
Yes.
Superior Avenue, the old Plain Dealer building. Voting early starts August 12th. Last day to register is August 11th.
For the primary.
Primary.
Yes, sir.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk more with Councilman Polenzek and his strategy. I'm going to ask him the question. His strategy for re-election. When we come back on the headline on Nerve DJs, WNRV 108.1.com. Nerve DJs, we get on your nerve. This is Don't Lose My Number, Phil Collins.
This is WNRV 108.1. WNRV 108.1.
Looking for the perfect workspace? Office Lawson Solon has you covered. Whether you need a private office, co-working membership, or a virtual business address, we've got flexible options to fit your needs. Check out our 2 spring promos. Enjoy free co-working Fridays and no deposit on private office rentals. We also offer month-to-month leasing for your ultimate flexibility. Visit office-loss.com or call 216-230-9258 to lock in your space now. Office Loss, where productivity meets flexibility.
See you soon.
This is WNRV 108.1.
Looking to grow or expand your business? Yo, bro, you read my mind. Well, we have the perfect solution for you. Your business needs are important, and so is your advertising. Here at WNRV Power 1081, we have marketing solutions for all your business needs and affordable pricing to keep you in the green. Give us a call today at 216-702-0688. That's 216-702-0688. Or email us at WNRVPower1081@gmail.com today.
What's up? It's your girl, Author Ivy Lee. Tune into the Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.
All right, we're back on the Headline Eye, WNRV108.1.com. No DJs, where we're going to get nerves. And right now, that was Earth, Wind, and Flames, Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Serpentine Fire. And I think we on Serpentine Fire with Councilman Michael D. Polenzek in the building. Before we get started, East Cleveland has a new mayor. Well, old new mayor, Lateek Shabazz. And the first thing that Lateek did was fire the police chief of East Cleveland. Well, that's called cleaning house right away. So keep doing what you're doing, Lateek. Hopefully you'll be on this show soon, very soon, and around this network. So a lot of people are praising it. Some people don't like it. But hey, if you're doing wrong, you gotta go. You gotta go. So speaking of which, Councilman Polenzek, there's been a lot of people that say that you've been in council for a while.
Yes, sir.
What keeps you going?
My passion, my belief in the city. I was born here, as I indicated earlier. I was born in Glenville neighborhood, 120th Street. Grew up in Collinwood. My great-grandparents lived on 47th Street, right over here off of Superior. This is my world. It's not a big world, but it's the only world I know. And as I've said, I've seen good things, I've seen bad things, and I've seen ugly things. And every neighborhood I go into, I see potential. And I keep asking myself, why? Why can't we build upon the potential and the positive things that are there? That's what I'm committed to. I've always felt very strongly. I have one of the better wards in the city. In fact, some people would argue I have maybe there's two real good wards on the east side, and I have one of the two, okay? So I'm very proud of that fact. I've worked hard over the years. I have wonderful groups. I have 22 neighborhood organizations. I work with some outstanding residents. And so I'm very proud of that fact. It's my world. I care passionately about it, and I've been very fortunate. And you don't get elected 12 times consecutively, overwhelmingly, by not delivering on behalf of your citizens. So that's what I've done. I appreciate it. I'm blessed. I thank them for the support that they've given me. As you know, I represent a ward that's predominantly African American. And show me another Caucasian councilman that represents a ward that's predominantly black in the city of Cleveland. There isn't any. There isn't any, and there hasn't been.
So this year, since you did the redistricting,
yes, sir.
Since the redistricting has happened,
yes,
you have an incumbent in your race.
Yes, I do.
Anthony Harris,
yes, sir,
who is in Ward 10 now.
Yes.
So y'all will be competing against one another.
Yes.
How do you feel about Anthony?
Well, Anthony's a colleague. He's a friend, and so I'm going to make a decision very shortly whether I'm going to run for re-election in Ward 10. I filed my petitions. I've always thought about, what are my options? What are the options for my community? But I've been interviewing neighborhood leaders, neighborhood residents. I've been polling people. And so I understand how people feel in a neighborhood. So I'm going to make a decision very shortly. If I go, I will run a very positive campaign. I'm a seasoned, seasoned is a good word. This Scorpio is well seasoned. But I will tell you, I will put my voting record, my attendance record, and my legislative record against anyone who's ever served in city council. And I'm very proud of that fact. And so at the end of the day, if I decide to go again, I will run on my record. But I'll be the first to say I've had a good working relationship with my colleague. And again, it's not anyone's fault that we're in the same ward together.
Right.
It could have happened anywhere. And if you look at the way the wards were drawn, if it wasn't Anthony and I in the same ward, it would have been Councilman Conwell and Councilman Stephanie House Jones in the same ward. Then Richard Starr would have been affected. You probably could have had 3 councilmen in the downtown area. So as I said earlier, I think Blaine tried to do Blaine Griffin, our council president, I think he tried to do the best job he could based on what he was given. And it's you have to make tough decisions. It's not a rewarding decision, not a rewarding process drawing wards. I can tell you that right now because I was through it. I had to do it myself in 2000, 2001 as council president. So I'm very much aware of what took place. And so time will tell, and I'll make that decision very shortly. And if I run hard.
Okay. So how long before you'll make that
Very
decision?
shortly.
Like a week?
It's going to be soon. It's going to be very soon. I'm going to make that decision. And then I have some wonderful people that I've had over the years. In fact, my longtime chairperson, Greg Pollard, the deacon over at Everlasting Baptist Church, he's already told me if I decide to go, he'll be with me again, as he's always been over the years. He's just been a wonderful friend and longtime supporter. So again, these are things I've had away. I've done a lot of thinking about this. I've done a lot of soul searching. I've prayed a lot about it, that I make the right decision. And because I will say this, Larry, you've known me a long time.
Yeah.
With me, it's not about politics. It's about my neighborhood. It's about our community. And so I'm committed to do what I have to do, what's for the best interest of my community, all the things I've been working on. And I'll make that decision. And when I make that decision, I'll do what I have to do.
Right. So how many people have asked you to run again ever since this happened?
A lot. I mean, I will tell you a lot. That's why it's weighed very heavily on me to make that decision. When you've served as long as I have, you make friends. You build friends. So that's the reality. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of supporters. I didn't get elected by myself. I got elected because I have a strong support base, and people know where I stand. You might not always agree with me, but you'll always know where I stand. And again, I will put my record in public office against anyone who's ever served in Cleveland City Council. And so I don't have. I'm not into maintaining enemies, or I'm not into that. I'm here to work with people. I'm here to work with people, and very proud of that fact. And only ask my dear friend George Forbes, our relationship over here. Sometimes we were on the same side, sometimes we were on the other side, sometimes we supported other people, but at the end of the day, we always remained true friends.
Right.
That's what it's about, building relationships, building friendships, and trying to do what you can for your neighborhood. I have a great neighborhood, and I work every day to try to maintain that neighborhood. So I understand the challenges of any council person running today in the city, because of the challenge we're confronted with, as we talked earlier: poverty, despair, lack of opportunity, schools that aren't operating the way they should be operating, big business that doesn't want to invest in our neighborhoods, decisions being made in Columbus, in Washington, that hurt our people. I want to say that again, that hurt our people. You can't keep giving tax breaks to billionaires.
Right.
You can't keep taking away critical programming from children and from neighborhoods if you expect those neighborhoods to be strong and viable. This is just basic common sense. And somehow it seems in Washington and Columbus, common sense has disappeared. That's the reality.
It comes to the bottom dollar and appeasing the orange, whatever he is.
Well, it all depends what day it is, too, what he is.
Right. And the thing about it is like, I think Jon Stewart said it best: no matter what you do or how you try to appease this man, he will never be appeased. He is just are always on some type of power trip.
Donald Trump, I've come to the realization watching him over here, the only thing he respects is power and people who are not afraid of him. And that's the challenge, is that there are too many people, especially on the Republican side of the aisle, who are scared of him. And you can hear the pee running down their leg every time.
I'm going to let you say that.
That's exactly. when he demands absolute loyalty. Well, you know what? A relative of George Voinovich said to me recently, who was a United States Senator, former mayor of the city of Cleveland, that his relative, George Voinovich, couldn't get elected today in Ohio. And I said, why? Because he said, because he could work across the aisle. He could work with Lou Stokes. They could work across the aisle. They could work with one another. Today, you got to be total adversaries. You got to be at each other's throats. And you know who loses? We lose. The people lose. Everyone knows I was very close to Lou Stokes, the gentleman from Ohio. Lou could sit down, regardless of someone's political position, and he could sit down and work with them. They might not always agree, but they could work together. And I heard those stories where they would sit down and talk about, hey, I need this for my neighborhood or my district. I need this. And they could come together. Those days are gone. And we somehow got to figure out how do we get back to that where we can disagree and still be agreeable, where we can be on different sides of the aisle, but we can come together to help our residents. That's not going to say we're always going to agree every time, but at the end of the day, I'm so disappointed what I see in government today. This carnage, this adversarial relationship. I gotta put a stake in the heart of my opponent or the people on the other side. No, it don't work that way. And we're all paying a price for that, my brothers and sisters, and we all know it. Let's be honest about it. We need transparency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of transparent, how the first 4 years, how do you think that Mayor Bibb has done since he's been elected?
I think there's been successes and there's been some roadblocks or some potholes that he's fallen into. I think the first 2.5 years, the public safety department, I think, did a very poor job of ramping up the police department. We didn't hire enough people. Thank God that changed after the 2.5, just over 2 years. Now we're doing everything we can to hire more police officers. City Council, Council President Blaine Griffin, myself as Chair of Public Safety for City Council, we've given the administration everything they needed. We set money aside this year to hire 180 police officers. We gave them body cams. We gave them dash cams in the cars. We passed legislation for drones, which are still not up in the air after 2 years. So we've given them everything they had requested and then some. We passed the new nuisance law. We passed the street takeover, ATV, dirt bike law. We passed, let me see what else we got, street takeover law, you name it, curfew law. We passed everything we needed to pass and then some. So I think that was a real, a missed opportunity with regard to public safety. The other thing that concerns a lot of members of council, due to what we talked earlier about all these these LLCs coming in our neighborhoods, we need more code enforcement. We see these absentee landlords that are just coming in, gobbling up everything they can on the east side of the city, jacking up rents. They're coming in. We need strong code enforcement. We need to get these people cited. We need to get them in housing court. And then the third component in here is schools. You cannot continue to close schools and strip programs out of our east side schools and expect our kids to be able to succeed. Our kids need opportunities. Not everybody's going to college. We need vocational and technical programs like there once were. What was East Tech? What was West Tech? What was Collinwood?
Vocational.
Yeah, exactly. I could go right on down the list of all these schools that were once there, and they stripped these schools. And then they wonder why our kids don't have opportunities. And yet we got all these good paying jobs out there that can't be filled because our kids lack the skills to fill those positions. So it goes back to what I've said and continue to say. It's about resetting our priorities. This is what I want to say to the mayor, if he was sitting right here. You got to refocus on quality of life issues. The lakefront is not going to remake any neighborhood, maybe except for the downtown neighborhood. It is not going to stabilize Lee Harvard or Mount Pleasant or Collinwood or Glenville or Huff or the near west side and beyond. It's not going to stabilize any neighborhood. It's great for outsiders and visitors to come to the city of Cleveland, but I go back, where does the money come from? So I'm here to support the mayor. I don't always agree with him. He's a young man. I think he still has a lot to learn as it pertains to what our priorities should be in the city. But that comes with the turf. When I came into city council, I had a learning curve as well. And thank goodness there were people like George Forbes and what I call the old warlords there that I learned, the streets from. I learned the process from. He's still in a learning curve. He's a young man, and I'm hoping that he'll continue to listen, engage people, and let's realize what Cleveland's all about. It's about stabilizing neighborhoods and about quality of life. That's what it's about at the end of the day.
So I'm going to ask you, we've known each other for a while, so
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, and these are going to be uncomfortable. I'm just letting you know right now.
Never uncomfortable.
So what about people that say that maybe you should just step away and from city council? You've been there too long.
Yeah.
A couple of people have been there too long. First of all, what about the people that say there should be term limits on city council?
I don't agree with term limits. I'm going to go back to my dear friend Lou Stokes. We used to have this conversation all the time. Lou said to me, I'm sitting with him at the old Column Post office up on 105th in Chester. We're talking about this one day, and he said, look, he leaned over to me and he said, Mike, there are term limits. I said, what do you mean, Lou, there are term limits? It's called an election. You don't like the person, you vote them out. You vote them out. So I heard the same thing about Lou. Well, he's in there too long. This person's in there too long. This person's in there too long. You don't like what they do, then you vote against them. That's what you do. Term limits are not the cure-all. I can tell you that right now. Or just like some people want to talk about having councilmen elected at large. That ain't going to work either. That will not work either. Look what we got. We got term limits in Ohio. Look at that wonderful mess we got in Columbus. So I serve my term in the state legislature, in the House, and then all of a sudden now I run for Senate. They play musical chairs. Look at what they do in Columbus. Musical chairs. If that's what you want, then so be it. But I would like to think that the average voter, the people who really care about our city, realize that you have to have stability. You know what? I'm proud of the fact that I have seniority. I worked hard to have the time. I've been elected 12 times. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of that fact. I make no apologies about that. I mean, and so you got the people that supported me overwhelmingly. So, have they been there a long time? Hell yeah, brother, I've been there a long time. And so, I've been blessed. I've been thankful. And if I pull the trigger to go again, the only thing I would ask of people, judge me on my record. Judge me on my record. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with younger people. I have no problem with people that are better educated, that are more attractive, that are more handsome. Okay, I have no problem with that.
Right.
I go back to I'm a seasoned Scorpio, brother, and so that's the name of the game. I mean, what you see with me is what you get. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to, I'm not here to come up or try to cover myself with some kind of shroud. Mm-hmm. What you see is what you get.
All right. So another thing, you've been in council for quite a while.
Yes, sir.
And the thing about it is, people are like, well, why don't you just step away? Or I know that this is a difficult time, but why didn't you step away a long time ago? Or why haven't you done this? Or why haven't you done that in city council?
You want to know why?
Right.
I love my job, and I love my community. Now, when people say, when you're a councilman in the city of Cleveland and you say that, you love your job, and they look at you, man, maybe he ought to be committed, okay? Maybe he's got issues. I don't have issues. I love my neighborhood. I love the people in it. And so, could I have stepped away? Yes, I could have stepped away, but let me ask this. If Larry Gardner is a painter or a sculptor, and you're working on a painting or you're carving something, do you step away from it before it's done? I have a whole bunch of projects that I'm into, that I worked on for years, that are finally in the pipeline, about to happen. The lakefront, the lakeshore, the reimagining Lakeshore Boulevard, working with new businesses coming in, expanding lakefront access along the lake, working on a St. Clair plan. I'm doing 140th Street right now. 200th Street is getting done right now. I work to get the food bank into the neighborhood. Look at the food bank. Look at that. I helped do that, man. I helped bring that food bank in there. I mean, so I could point to a whole bunch of stuff that I'm so very proud of with the support of my residents. So I will say this: I'm not done yet, man. I'm not done. And so that's what's weighing very heavily on me, the decision I'm about to make, because my job isn't over yet. When I feel my job is done with the support of my residents and how they feel, then I'll decide is it time. But right now, I'm weighing that very heavily.
So, you have advocates and activists say this, and this.
Sure.
What do you say to them if they're saying, well, Mike Polinsky, their word is not doing a good job? What do you say to them?
Well, elected 12 times overwhelmingly. Okay, that record speaks for itself. So we all have our distractors, all members of city council. You could go in any ward and you'll find people, oh, that guy's, that man or woman, they're this and they're that. I don't listen to the distractors. I don't pay attention to the distractors because they don't do anything. They don't bring anything to the table. It's like if you want an armchair quarterback, be the armchair quarterback. It's another thing to get behind the center and take the ball. I take the ball every day. I play every day. I come to work every day. So you can be a distractor, you can be a complainer. I want positive people. I want to deal with people who want to bring things to the table. I want believers. No neighborhood will ride on the backs of one individual person, one elected official. I want to say that again. No council person is going to make or break a neighborhood. Some can help greatly and some might hurt in some areas, but it's up to the people in that neighborhood, Larry, to get engaged, to be involved with the neighborhood groups, to bring their spirit in, to support the neighborhood organizations, to support the churches, and all the institutions that are there. People can make a difference. People, there's a lady who wouldn't give up her seat on a bus and helped drive the entire civil rights movement, was a part of the civil rights, because one woman would not give up her seat on a bus. You'd be surprised what one person can do if they want to do it. That's my message to my residents constantly. It's one thing to complain, another thing to be in the game, to be involved in your community, make your community the best it can be. That's been what I've attempted to do. And the only thing I could say to my citizens, should I pull the trigger again and decide to go, judge me on what I've done. Judge me on my record in public office. That's all I can tell you. And if that's not good enough, then so be it. See, I'm beyond politics at this point. I'm going to do what's right for my neighborhood. I'm going to do what's right for my city. So whether I hold public office or not is not the point with me, because I'm going to be engaged. This is my home. I never lived anyplace else, man. This is it. This is my world. This is my world. 120th to now just off of Nottingham Road, East 185th Street. That's my world. Ain't a big world, but it's the only world that I know. And I'm going to try to make the best of it. Every day I try to do that, try to make it the best I can. That's all I can tell you, brother. And I'm very thankful and proud of that fact of my record in public office.
What do you? What would you tell a city council person who just got elected? If you were elected, what have you told? Pretty much with your experience, what advice have you given to newly elected city officials, especially city council people?
I'll tell you what George Forbes told me, and the late Caesar Moss. Michael, answer the phone. Answer the phone. I answer the phone. The majority of our people are not texting. They're not on Facebook. They want to talk to somebody. They want to see you at their house. They want to see you at their business that they want you to come. That's what I do every day long. That's what I was doing this morning. I'm out in the neighborhood. Pay attention to what people have to say. Listen. I listen more today than I ever have. Listen. You might not always agree. I might not always agree with Larry Gardner, but I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to hear what he has to say and then make up my own decisions or do what I have to do. Too many young people, too many young elected officials, it's all about social media. No, it ain't, man. It's about getting out there in the street, listening to folks. It's about representing people who've worked their whole lives, and sometimes the only thing they got is that house or that apartment. That's all they got. And be mindful of that fact. Be mindful of what the folks that you're dealing with, the issues, the challenges that they have. The majority of moms who are trying to raise families, and I can relate to that because my mother was in that same situation, trying to raise 4 of us by herself. So I can relate to what many of these moms are going through in the city of Cleveland. Listen, I say this all the time to my young colleagues. Listen, pay attention, and if you do that, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And if you were to sit down George Forbes in this right here in the studio today, he'll tell you the same thing. I did it the old-fashioned way. I took care of business. So when the day comes I'm no longer here, the only thing I can say to anyone, I've tried my best. I did my best. That's all I can do. I came in a councilman. I never had these visions or dreams of running for this or running for that or being some. I came in a councilman. I'm going out a councilman. Okay? Now, not too many people can say that, but I can say that. When I go out as a councilman, and I've tried my very best. That's all I can do. That's all I can say. And I'd like to think my record speaks for itself.
I understand that. What is the main thing that you would say to your colleagues that some of your colleagues have come under fire for inappropriation or other things, or just being not sociable to other people? So what advice do you give them when they come under fire?
Larry, there's 17 members there now. There will be 15. Every one of us is different. Even the Kucinich brothers, they were each different. Dennis and his brother, Gary, were completely different. Everybody is different. Be mindful, be respectful. A lot of people are afraid of the news media. I'm not. Because if you haven't done anything wrong, what do you got to be afraid of? Don't be afraid of the news media. Talk to them. They call me. People say, well, why are you on TV all the time? Because they come to see me. They call me. I'm not here to run from the news media. I'm not afraid of the media. I'm not afraid to talk to Larry Gardner, his tough questions. That's what it's about, transparency. I'm not afraid. Become engaged. But I will say this as well. When you hold public office and you think you can do whatever you want, especially with public money, it's going to bite you in the ass. Okay? Remember that. Because I don't like wearing orange jumpsuits and rubber shoes. Okay?
Crocs.
Okay?
Right.
That's exactly. So, I've kept my nose clean 12 consecutive terms. I'm going to continue to keep my nose clean, represent my folks to the best of my ability. That's all I can do. Everybody's different. Be respectful, be mindful. George Forbes used to laugh at me. One day I was so mad at the Plain Dealer about an article they wrote years and years ago, and George Forbes said to me, Michael, don't be upset about what they write about you. Make sure they spell your name right, okay? And I always remember that, George. So make sure they spell your name right, okay? And so that's how I approach it. I'm not afraid of the media at all. In fact, they're doing their job. That's what they're about. It's about cat and mouse. They're trying to catch the mouse, but I don't want to be the mouse. I don't want to be the rat. I mean, I'm going to do what I got to do, man.
I think the thing is that now, because of the dictatorship in the White House.
Yeah, you're being polite.
I'm being very polite right now. It's you right now here. It's right, and plus we have somebody in the audience.
Yeah.
The dictatorship in the White House is now that media is on the P's and Q's to ask anybody any questions.
They're afraid.
Except for me, I really don't care anymore.
No.
So it's like I never cared in the first place if you were like me or not. But the review is this. We expect the thing about it is good sources of media like this one. We just want the truth. We want the actual facts, and all we want is the transparency of the truth.
Of course.
Period. So what do you say to your council people if they're afraid to talk to the media I mean, you probably said it before, like as far as saying that you don't have nothing. If you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have nothing to hide. What about those council people who do have something to hide and they get exposed, and that make the rest of the council look bad?
Well, it has. There has been some that have made us look bad over the years, but again, you know what? I can't speak for them. They made those decisions in life. Don't cast a cloud over the entire body. The majority of men and women that I've served with over my 12 consecutive terms are some of the most decent, dedicated people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. I've never been afraid. You have interviewed me, I don't know how many times over the years. I've never been afraid of any questions because, see, you're always going to ask. You're going to ask pointed questions. I've never had a thought that you're somehow trying to set me up or some way. The problem is, again, let's go back. There's some people in the media, both the left-wing and right-wing media, are trying to set people up or trying to make people look bad. It's all about gamemanship today. It's not about, I keep asking myself, what's wrong with the media as well, the national media, who can't see through their own prejudices or their own political allegiance. I'm not afraid. When you want to silence Stephen Colbert, I don't watch Stephen Colbert, but because he made fun of the president, now you're going to silence him. Man, that's scary. That's a scary proposition.
That's what we have to run. The thing about it is, like, African American media. By the way, the National Association of Black Journalists convention will be here in Cleveland the first week of August.
That's right.
By the way, shout out to Ronna Carter, from the president of the NAB, the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists. Right. We have a golf outing. Pretty much in that particular that week, that Sunday, that August 2nd. That's a Sunday. You can golf for $150. If you want to eat, just pay $50 for the, it goes to us for the journalists. So we as media, podcasters, internet people and stuff like that, not getting enough support from, and the thing about it is, like, the last bash in the truth, because I'm just going to be very transparent with you, Councilman.
You've always been.
Councilman. The national media, like the stations and stuff like that, they can only say so much as far as, of course, Fox News, we know they kiss Trump's behind every single day. But, but the thing about it is like, they may have certain limitations. I do not. But the thing about it is, I am mindful and respectful. But what about the support that we need to get as black journalists, period?
Well, we all have to support the press. We have to support free and independent journalism, because what makes a democracy? Having the truth, the transparency. If you want to live in Russia or North Korea or China, let the news media be suppressed. Let them be squashed. Let them be put out of business. I would say to all citizens, be mindful. They want to put PBS out of business, public broadcasting.
I want to kill. They trying to get rid of Sesame Street.
That's
man.
Exactly. They want to kill Sesame Street. I mean, come on now, really? Give me a break here. It's about suppression. It's about oppression. And at the end of the day, all of us have to stand up. And you know what I've been doing at my neighborhood meetings? I've been passing out an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with your state representatives on it, your local state reps, who's the leader of the Ohio House and Senate, who your Congress people are, who your United States senators are, your phone numbers, their email. I've been passing out in my neighborhood meetings saying, people, if you got a pothole in front of your house, you know who Councilman Polensek is. You got a tree in your trim, you know who I am. Right. You know me, you got me on speed dial. Do you know who your state rep is? Do you know who your United States Congress people are? You know who your United States Senator. Larry, you'd be surprised of people who don't know who their Congress people are or their United States Senators are. And they have no idea who their state reps are and their state senators, because you know what? We don't teach government and civics in our schools anymore. So we better start learning. We better start understanding who we have to communicate to, because these are the guys voting. See, I don't affect your life. I don't affect the action I take in city council is not affecting Larry Gardner's life or all the other Cleveland residents. But them people and those folks in Columbus and Washington they are affecting your life. They're affecting your financial wherewithal. And if we don't express ourselves, they're going to continue to suppress the media, the free press. the democracy. Our country is based on being able to, again, to disagree and still be agreeable. Something's missing here, and unless we as citizens get more engaged, but I'm gonna be very blunt as I always am. There's too many people want to come home and sit in front of the TV, the big screen TV. They want to get on their computer or their cell phone, their smartphone, and it's like they transport themselves to another world. You better be careful what world you're transporting yourself to, because the real world is going to have an adverse effect on you. The people in Washington and Columbus are going to have an adverse effect on you unless you pay attention to what's happening here. Our people better pay attention. You get the government you deserve. And you want to get screwed? Continue to don't become engaged. What can I tell you, brother?
It's pretty much in your face. It's always been in the power of the people's hands to elect their elected officials to make the right decisions for them.
Exactly. I said to someone, I was up in Mount Pleasant, Lee Harvard for the annual parade last year, Labor Day parade, and an older gentleman came up to me and he said, "You know what? By how few elected officials showed up for the parade." Because you can remember when Lou Stokes ran that parade, and Chantel Brown has tried to do a magnificent job. She's trying her very best.
Shout out to Chantel.
Yeah, but you know what this guy said to me? He said, Lou Stokes would be rolling over in his grave to see how few elected officials are up here and how few people are engaged in a political process anymore, voting. And he's absolutely right. Think about the Voting Rights Act. Think about everything that people fought for. I tell my own kids, when you go to vote, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but you better vote. And remember, you're not only voting for yourself and a family, you're voting for the people who didn't have a right to vote, that died for us in our armed services, the labor movement, the women's suffrage movement, the civil rights movement. You gotta remember those people who gave up their lives or were abused and beaten for you to have these rights today. Too many of our people have forgot about that. I want to say that again, they have forgot about what people experienced, what they went through to give us the right to vote. So we can bemoan what's happening in Washington and Columbus, but if we don't express ourselves, do you think it's going to change?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no, brother.
Absolutely not. And as I keep saying, that's why I remind every time election season comes around, it's like early voting starts this day. This is where you can go to. And repeating this, that's why I repeat the same things.
Get involved. Pay attention. You know what? You got a block club, get involved in it. You got a neighborhood association, get involved in it. Whatever it is. That's what I heard from my mother when I was a kid. I passed out stuff for Carl Stokes in 1967 as a kid. Lou Stokes never forgot about it. Carl never forgot about it. That's why every time I ran, I had their support. I had Lou's support. I didn't even know who Carl Stokes was in 67. I was a kid in school. My mother was one of those Eastern European women supporting Carl. That group of people that came together. I passed out that stuff. I still remember what 4 streets I passed it out on St. Clair Avenue. But my mother believed in the process. She believed in getting involved and getting engaged to make a difference. I've never stopped voting since the day I registered to vote. I've never missed a vote. And I won't. I will not, because they can't take that away from me. There's a lot they can take away, but they can't take away my vote. But let me tell you something. They'll try. I want to say this again. They'll try.
Gerrymandering.
Exactly.
Redistricting.
The people better remember the Voting Rights Act, how long it took to get that passed. They'll try to take your vote. Next thing you know, you will have to count jelly beans again in a jar, okay? As they used to do in the Deep South to figure out how you could vote. I mean, you get the government you deserve. Get engaged, get involved in your community, care, look out for one another, and you'll make a difference in your neighborhood and in your city.
So we gotta get. I hate that we gotta get out of here, but I would like to thank Councilman Polensik. So when you say you're going to make that decision to run
Soon.
again?
I'll make it soon.
Soon?
Yeah, I'll make it soon.
You're going to make an announcement?
Oh, hell yeah, man.
You going to call me before you do that?
Man, why is everybody in the media say, you got to call me first? You got to call me first. But when you make that announcement, I said, when I make that announcement, don't worry, everybody and their grandmother's going to know, okay? and so I'll make that decision. And Larry Gardner will know, man, because Larry's like, you're like manure in the barnyard. You're all over the place, man, okay?
Thank you, but I don't smell like it, though. Thank you. I'm gonna let you get off with that one, but I thank you very much for coming. Before we go, I gotta say something about. I'm gonna speak my piece about Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Okay.
When the Cosby Show came out, I was he's 54. I'll be 50 this year, so he's pretty much was a little bit older than me. The thing about it is I was around Malcolm's, a little bit younger than Malcolm's age when he first came out with the rat tail comb and stuff like that. So the thing about it is I wasn't in it like before that, before positive teenage African-American male role models were on there. There weren't really that many, probably except for, Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges.
Yep. You're right.
Different strokes.
Yeah.
Webster, but they always were adopted by, offense to you, Councilman, they were white families.
Yeah.
This was the first African-American show that had a professional African-American man and a professional African-American woman raising children.
Yes.
I was Theo. I was not in a gang.
Yep.
I was not in there. I was not in a gang. I was not involved in nothing. I wasn't, Theo never hung out. He was a regular high school, college kid.
Right.
If you remember Bill Cosby's actual family, Ennis Cosby, his actual son, who was killed by a person who was trying to carjack him back in 1997, Ennis Cosby had dyslexia. When the Cosby Show was written, Theo was struggling in school and stuff like that. Turns out that Theo had, in the show, dyslexia when they found it out in college. Once they found it out in college, they corrected that, and he had jobs and stuff, and he had straight A's and everything else like that. The last episode of the Cosby Show focused on Theo's graduation from college. This Malcolm Jamal Warner for African American men was something that you can strive to. And he even said that despite all the stuff that Cosby did or whatever, we're not going to focus on the negative. What we're going to focus on is the mercy. When Bill Cosby said it's like 1997 all over again, I can never imagine a father losing his son, and not once, but his adopted son twice. Because pretty much we grew up with the Cosbys. We grew up watching this African-American family, and it made more families strive positive. So this hurts.
And then the reruns on top of it.
Reruns on top of it.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
I understand that now we lost Ozzy Osbourne, rock and roll. But the thing about it is, I'm affected more by Malcolm because the simple fact of the matter is that the matriarch I always talk about when we lose somebody, there's one less person at the dinner table. Well, what happens when the leader is gone? Then someone has to step up.
Right.
And we all have to step up
Yes.
when the leader has been taken away.
Right.
Thank you, Councilman Polensik, for being here. And whenever you do decide to run, I'm sure I think I have my answer in my head. I think that you're going to decide, I'm just going to tell it to you right now.
Tell me. You're a mind reader.
All right. So I'm just going to say it. Here's my thing. I think that you're going to run again and you're going to run a clean race. That's just my personal opinion. I think that you're going to run again and you're going to run a clean race because you're facing an African-American man who's your opponent this time, but you have nothing bad to say about your colleagues, and you never have said anything bad about your colleagues.
No.
Or even your opponents, by the way.
Well, let me say there's been some opponents, and we've all had opponents. The first time I ran for public office, I was 23 years old. Think about that, 23 years old, man. So at the end of the day, it is about being respectful. It is about caring. Contests are just that, contests. And so at the end of the day, I've had the utmost respect for my colleagues. I have the utmost respect for my immediate colleague, now Councilman Hairston, and my other colleague, Councilman Conwell. So I'm here, whatever capacity I'm in, I'm here to help my colleagues. I believe in the institution of City Council. It's a great institution. I know exactly what City Council has done over the years, the things that they fought for, the things that they believe in. And so I'm very proud of the fact I never thought I'd be a public official. It was not on my radar screen when I was a kid growing up. And so I've been very proud and honored to hold public office in this city. And I said, I came in a councilman, I'll go out a councilman, and I want to thank everyone for the support that they've given me over the years. And Larry, I want to thank you because you've always asked tough questions and hard questions, but you've always been fair. That's the key thing. You've always been fair.
The people listen to me, so I got to be fair to everybody around that comes around. I'm just going to say, if you don't decide to run, you're going to support. If you don't decide to run in this race, are you going to support Hairston?
Well, there's only two of us in the race, so you answered that question right there. And I've already come out and endorsed Councilman Conwell in Ward 9, who's a wonderful councilman, who's really tried his best in Ward, and he's got a new ward, man. I'm telling you, Kev's got a new ward, and but I've had a good working relationship with Kevin. So at the end of the day, you'll know shortly. And again, I just want to thank you for the invite.
Thank you very much.
Your courtesy and your professionalism. And I wish you well. Stay safe and healthy, my friend, and God bless.
God bless you too. And by the way, Councilman Conwell, I know you're listening. You don't have to avoid me, sir. You can come on here. Councilman Polenzig has left here unscathed. You can be the same thing too.
Are you telling me Conwell's afraid of you?
I don't know if he is or not. Maybe I ain't invite him, but the thing about it is he's always been respectful to me every time I see him in public. By the way, you can bring your band too if you want.
That's right. That's right. He has a wonderful. Kevin Conwell's very talented, very multi-talented, and I hope he's listening. He would come on the Larry Gardner show. And I'm going to challenge him right now to come on to Larry Gardner's show.
Thank you. See, that's what happened when you got back. That's what happens, man. All right, I gotta go, man. We gotta show you the next door. By the way, speaking of which, happy 50th birthday to my friends Ann and Tara Thompson. Their birthday party is gonna be here at the View, 5100 St. Clair Avenue. I will be here, and a couple of things are happening at the View. There's a sober party here at the View. We had the men's mental health. Shout out to Johnny O and everything else, everybody else like that. So, the next one for the men is August 4th. Come down and support men's mental health. So we about to get out of here.
Okay.
All right. So mercy me is what's been going on. So hopefully everybody has grace and mercy. This is a oldie but goodie. Marvin Gaye. Mercy me. If nobody tells you they love you today, I do. We out of here till next week. Peace.
Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Whoa, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby are dying. Oh, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from man can't you stand?